What's going on, everybody? This is Ed Talks, and I'm doing my second video on the road to the Studio 86 series. And in front of you today, we have Takara Tomy Legends Blurr. This Blurr, before the announcement of the release of the Studio 86 series, was one of the most sought after toys in the Titans Return Takara Legends line. The paint job is just exquisite. And you're looking at a figure who, in my opinion, is my favorite version of Blurr. And why do you say that? Well, I've seen the pictures of the Studio 86 Blurr, which I don't have a problem with that Blurr. I'm going to say this. I'm buying every one of those figures from Studio 86. But there's two things I don't like about that Blurr. Was the head and the arms. It's something that throws me off. Other than that, everything looks good on that Blurr. But this one, even though it's not exactly G1 accurate, hits a lot of points with me. And like I said, when I do my review, when I get my hands on the Studio 86 version of Blurr, like I said, I'm going to use them, but this is still my Blurr. Again, this is the Titans Return, but this is the Legends version. With all Legends toys, of course, they don't have the modern articulation and sculpting that the newer toys have, like the Siege, Earthrise, and upcoming Kingdom, as well as Studio 86. But, in theory, the paint job on this is just exquisite. Let's take a look at it. And, this is the shield cockpit when he transforms. Here he is from the side. And I want to kind of take this off so you can see what I'm talking about. And as you can see there from the side, he still has that little thing back there. I wish there was a way to make it go up or down. You could fold it up, but it would look weird. But it's supposed to fold down. And this is what I have an issue with, is the arms. Even though he has these, they did a good job on both versions, because this is just a repaint of the Titans Return, which is kind of more or less following the paint scheme of the Target Master Blurr, G1 Target Master Blurr. So take a good look. That paint job is legit for some people. Just, of course, Takara, before Hasbro said, hey, you can't do this anymore, just made the colors pop. Now, he is a headmaster, and he does have articulation. Leg goes out to there, as you can see. His arm kind of goes up because he's got the shoulder bend there. The arm twist. He doesn't have a double elbow or anything like that, but he does have, this. He can do that, which is pretty cool. So he can do some crazy poses. The fist actually rotates. That's pretty cool. See that there? But, man, the piece de la resistance is the head. And we're going to look at the head for a second. I'll push that back to the side. And then we're going to do some other things with him. And, like I said, we do have some toys for comparison. And let's back this up for a second. And that head, man, that head is truly amazing. And yes, he has that Spartan, like the speedy helmet look, and it pops up. It's delicate, but it pops up. Sometimes it'll fall down, but hey, look at that. Gorgeous paint job. And then when you open them up, you turn the head around. I mean, look at that. I mean, it looks like a mini Blurr. A mini Blurr. But let's put the head back on for a second. And I'm going to go quick because I really got to go to work tomorrow. I realize I got to go to work a little early. I got to work overtime tomorrow. Oh, gosh. It's one thing I want to point out is you can actually store that on the back. And while it does kind of stick out a little bit, maybe more than I would like, it is well painted, and it's, you could leave it on the back. So if you're not really looking at him from the side, he's got the nice, just that he looks like Blurr. And I'm sorry, it's gonna be hard to give this guy up. They knocked it out of the park. I mean, it's been used to make this mold is used to make Brainstorm. It's been used to make Nautica and RC, and they've used this mold like 4 times now to make Brainstorm. There's some slight remold differences, but Blurr is what it was really started out as. And we'll do some quick comparisons, man, because it gotta be quick, man. It's he's a deluxe. Here he is next to Exhaust with some third-party weapons, and you can see he's actually on the small side, not as large as the other ones. And just for comparison to a deluxe, I'll bring out Twin Twist, and as you can see again, Twin Twist is a deluxe, but he's a slightly bigger deluxe. Let me get him in frame a little bit so nobody's complaining. There we go. And then, just to compare it to a Voyager, I don't have any true leaders. I just have this Voyager and that Blitzwing, because they're in the same line. And this is also the Legends Blitzwing again. He's making his second appearance. I may need to review him one day. He's one of my favorites, even though I know I would love to have a Siege, or not so much Siege, but an Earthrise Blitzwing. I don't know. It kind of just does it for me. All right, we're done with comparisons. We're going to move everybody out the way. We got a schedule to keep. And we're going to transform him. So we're going to take this off first. We put the head to the side. And his weapon, which I wish was silver, but it's gray. That's all. It's just a gun. Hey, you ain't missing nothing. So the first thing you want to do is unfold the hands here and turn them this way, I believe, so that the cover can go over there. Same thing on the other side, so that the cover can go over there. And then you just kind of fold those down a bit. I always do that to leave them that way. Then after that, you want to open these up and just kind of fold them down. Same thing. Open up the other side, and you're going to fold it down. And he's really, the thing that's funny about this one, people, is that he's kind of not a shell former, but there isn't a whole lot to him. And you really do have to straighten out those legs, man. That's kind of a tricky part that I had issues with when I first got him. So sometimes you gotta, before you combine it and separate it, you gotta do it that way. And I always have issues with this. Still to this day, I have issues. Isn't that a shame? Oh, that's because I forgot. There's a little tail piece right there. This is what I'm talking about. Why, that folds out. Now I can put them in place, and then they fold back like that, and that's the little wind vane. And then you kind of flake this up, fold that back for the seats. And then after that, what you want to do is, it's going to all come together. It's going to all come together. I hate that, though. I always hate that part. So we'll leave that up. And then we're going to fold that back. And that, again, goes under there. And there are tabs right there. Everything just kind of tabs in place. But you also want to make sure, before you do that, I forgot to keep that there. And like I said, that folds in there. And why you want to do that? Because there's holes right there. And everything just folds in place. And even though he has that piece that doesn't go anywhere, you can kind of lift that up. And after that, you have this sleek and sexy model, which is Blurr. And look at that. I mean, look at that. That is how everything just folds up. Is so neat. And make sure you look at it from the top, look at it from the back, look at it from the bottom, And of course, you can put the gun here or there. I usually just put the gun in on each side. It doesn't really matter. You can just put the gun right there. And, you know, open up the cockpit. She said cockpit. Ah. And just put him in there so he can scoot around. And voila. Whew, I am Blurr. Fantastic. I mean, now, the vehicle mode that the other version, the Studio 86 version has, is actually better than this. And the vehicle mode is really captured well. Same thing for Cup. His vehicle mode is spot on. But this did a good job until we got that version. In fact, like I said before, it's really going to be hard for me to give this up. And like I said, if you want to see a comparison, because everybody wants to compare stuff, I don't know why. You know, you probably should just buy some toys if you want to compare it. But here you go. Here's Skywarp to keep you company. And again, that's because that's the only thing I have available at the moment. And like I said, I got to go extra fast because I got to edit. And we're just going to plop down here for a second. And you can see he's deluxe size, you know. Here's deluxe size. All right. And that's really all I have is for comparison. But other than that, that's it. And we'll come back and I'll give my final thoughts. So, I'm back. My final thoughts. You should, well, not buy this figure. And I'll explain. So, for the price that you would pay for the Studio 86 version, it's going to be a lot cheaper than trying to pick him up. Now, prices vary for him, and the prices may actually come down for him because of the fact that the release of the Studio 86 version. And that being said, if this Blurr matches the aesthetic that you're looking for, then yeah, pick him up. I've seen him fluctuate anywhere between roughly $37 to $38 up to about $100. It just depends on where the starting bid is. But he can go for a pretty high price. He was fetching that for quite some time. And I'm sure with the advent of the Studio 86 version being released, that could come down. The same can't be said for Legends RC compared to Earthrise RC. You know, but that's a piece of crap toy with the shell. Anyway, that being said, I picked this up back when he was like $29.99. I don't have the box. I got him from China, long story, but I actually got him from China when he was out, because that was the cheapest you could get him. Great figure. Again, he lacks the modern articulation, but it still works, you know, because it just works. The color is spot on. I mean, I think that, you know, the face sculpt is nice. And the thing I like about the face sculpt is it gives him a little more of a maybe meaner look. Not as, you know, that face sculpt is too dang on derpy for me. Let's just be real. But I'm still going to buy it. So please. I've had too many people tell me, why you hating on Cup? Everybody hating on Cup and Blurr. If you look at the pictures, man, those forearms and the head, I just don't like them. But, however, if you're in the market to get this Blurr, keep your prices down. You're probably going to pay $30 for him right now, or $35, somewhere in that category. Other than that, if you want to wait for the Studio 86, that would probably be your best bet. Me, myself, owning this figure, it's hard to give up this Blurr. This Blurr is one of the nicest repaints I've ever owned from Takara, because they knocked it out the park. And I always said that this figure was nice, very nice, used in multiple ways. So I'll let you know like this is one of their pinnacle molds. I will give this my 10 out of 10 because it's still a 10 out of 10 for me. I'm going to keep him. He's still going to be on my shelf over the Studio 86, but I will keep the Studio 86 because I'm going to support that line so they can make more. All right. That being said, I am done, and I've got a lot of editing to do. So I want to thank again all my subscribers for showing up or subscribing, even if you just hit the subscribe button because you want to help I appreciate it. It helps me. It keeps me motivated. I appreciate you. And if you like my long-winded voice, that is awesome. And again, my name is Ed Talks, and I like to say good night, good day, good evening, and have a nice night.